I want to talk to you about toxic leadership. I'm passionate not just for any kind of leadership, but healthy leadership. One of the biggest questions that I ask myself daily when I walk into a classroom to teach, or just as a father with my three kids and a husband to my wife, the biggest question I ask myself every day: am I a toxic leader? Most leaders who are now toxic didn't always start out toxic. Many over time allowed pressures and of whatever their responsibilities were to engulf them and to cause a lot of toxic behaviors and toxic mindsets through failures and through disappointments and disloyalties, where people may have stabbed them in the back or different things like that. We have these internal conversations that we have that we'll never have anybody do that to us again. And therefore we started developing these toxic way of doing things. In reality, these things are just set to protect ourselves. And many times when we go into our leadership mode to protect ourselves, we produce toxic environments. I have a story. I worked at a private company some years ago. I was brought on. I was very reluctant to come on because I had not done that type of work, and I was very forthcoming with them. I told them I'm very uncomfortable. I've never done this type of work, but it was giving me an opportunity. I have been out of college, my undergrad for a couple of years, and I really wanted to change my career and just kind of step my foot in there. It was dealing with people, so I felt like that I could at least try my hand at it, and they gave me a train you, no problem. We see potential in you. Go ahead. We'll give you everything that you need. There's no problem. There's no worry. We have it all set up for you, and we will show you the ropes, and you will have no problem. You are made for this job. That's what they told me. So I was excited. I was making more money at the time that I'd ever made. So I made the jump, and for the first few months, it was pretty decent. I wasn't getting that much training, but I was trying to make it work. As a result, as time went by, I began to notice that the leadership was not as healthy as it should have been. When I would come to ask for help, they would see me like I was, inconveniencing them. And the funny thing about it, the moment that I did make a mistake, they were pissed off at the highest level of pistivity. They took on this model that the more they threaten you, seemingly they thought the more motivated you'll become. They felt like the more they showed that they did not care, for some reason they felt like that would motivate not only myself but my other coworkers to care. This is a negative trend, because as the leadership got more toxic, they began to do negative things in hopes that they would produce a positive result. And they would do things like the supervisor. She would come in and she would say sarcastic, demeaning, condescending remarks towards not only myself, but my coworkers. And you know what? Honestly, that is a trend that I see in a lot of companies. I see that trend in a lot of relationships. I see that trend in any area where it concerns leadership, that we feel like that in order to get a positive result, we have to give a negative response. One of the craziest moments I can actually remember with working with that company was one day we were in the middle of audits, and it was extremely stressful time. I remember everybody being tense, not really wanting to be there, getting there early, working late. We were trying to get these things right, but we were up under a lot of pressure. One particular day, in the height of our pressure, our owner thought that she would do something extra to motivate us in a extra way. She walked in with this shirt with the words that said, "I love me more." That was to say and send us a message that if it came down to it, if you messed up, if there was a mistake made, if the company had to pay for it in any way, I love me more, I love this company more, and that I will choose me in this company 100 times over before I choose you. And what that did, that just basically let us know that she was in quote unquote a firing mood. And who wants to work under the pressure that if I make any mistake, that I will lose my job, I won't be able to take care of my family, and ultimately won't be able to take care of myself? As a result of a lot of these actions, you know, they did a lot of unethical things, and caused people to make decisions to leave the company, to leave many times without even putting in a 2 weeks notice, which put the company in a very bad way. And so I've ran into different people that used to work there, and they're saying that she blames a lot of the co-workers for where the company is now. And I always say that that was the environment that she created. There's a well-known company by the name of Honeywell. In their company, in their factories, while the people are working, because the type of products that they make, sometimes it can create a lot high levels of toxicity, so high that if the toxicity got into the air, it could cause a major nerve damage or possible death. So what they do, they put in these sensors, these very powerful sensors all throughout the factory. These sensors are designed to sense the levels of toxicity and filter out the toxic levels of the air. As long as these sensors are working, the men and women are safe from the toxic levels. But the moment that the sensors are not safe, all of a sudden they'll allow the toxic levels to get past them. They won't filter it out, and it could critically injure the men or possibly kill them. The question you need to ask yourself is this: am I safe? Am I safe? Are people safe with me? Is my wife or husband safe with me? Are my kids safe with me? Are my coworkers safe with me? If the answer is no, then you are a toxic leader. But if that answer is yes, then you are a leader that is safe.